Comparative advantage is a basic theory of international trade. This is a prominent classical trade theory as well. This was developed by David Ricardo in order to fix the drawbacks of the absolute advantage theory. Both absolute advantage theory and comparative advantage theory are developed on the same framework based on same assumptions. Only difference is absolute advantage is the basis of trade according to absolute advantage theory. At the same time, comparative advantage on the commodities for the nations is the basis of trade according to comparative advantage theory. And there are many misconceptions about comparative advantage theory. The three misconceptions were pointed out by Paul Krugman and Ostfeld in their book on international, in their textbook on international economics, and they have pointed out three misconceptions, and that are highly persistent according to Krugman and Ostfeld. These misconceptions are the myths, are presented as the myths on comparative advantage theory. These myths or misconceptions are the misunderstandings on comparative advantage theory. And let's look each myth pointed out by Krugman and Oswald. First myth on comparative advantage theory is myth on productivity and competitiveness. So let's look the argument developed by somebody against the comparative advantage theory. So the myth is free trade is beneficial only if your country is strong enough to stand up to foreign competition. Otherwise, foreign trade leads to benefiting only one nation, not the other nation. Only the single player will be benefited. But in fact, the basis of trade is both nations will gain from trade. Otherwise, the trade will not happen. The trade will happen only when, in fact, when both parties benefit, both nations benefit. Otherwise, there is no need to trade. But according to the opponents of the comparative advantage theory, they argue that wrongly free trade is beneficial only to the nations which are strong enough to stand up to foreign competition. So only matured nations will be benefited from free trade. Only the strong nations will be benefited from free trade according to the opponents of the comparative advantage theory. This argument seems to be right to many people. The common man believe that this is a right statement, and they criticize the free trade by asserting that it may fail to hold in reality. But we need to think in deep on detail. In fact, the critics of comparative advantage theory on the productivity and competitiveness myth, they failed to understand the essential point of Ricardo's model of comparative advantage. What is the essential point of Ricardo's model? Ricardo's comparative advantage theory states that the gains from trade depends on comparative advantage rather than absolute advantage. It is not the absolute advantage which make a nation help to export and import, but it is only the comparative advantage, not the absolute advantage, helping a nation to export and import. That means if a nation has got the comparative advantage on the production of a commodity, that nation should export that commodity. Automatically, the opposite nation will get the relative advantage, comparative advantage on the other commodity. So the mutual beneficial trade will happen smoothly if comparative advantage is in practice. At the same time, if absolute advantage is in practice, a single nation may have the absolute advantage, or the absolute cost efficiency on all commodities, and the opposite nation may not have the absolute cost advantage on any commodity. So this that will be a single way, one way trade if absolute advantage theory is in practice. But if Ricardo's theory is in practice, both nations will be getting an opportunity to have the gainful trade. How the comparative advantage as the basis of international trade doesn't mean that nations should produce everything if they produce more efficiently than anyone else. So that is not the base. That means absolute advantage is not the basis of trade. All commodities need not be produced only. Uh, all commodities need not be produced by a single nation, even though that nation has got the absolute cost advantage. So that is not the basis. Even the countries with less efficiency may also be able to specialize on certain commodities. Still, all nations in the international trade scenario will be benefited as per comparative advantage theory. The absolute advantage on productivity is also not always required to export. It is not the sufficient condition for export always as well. So comparative advantage depends not only on productivity but also on domestic wage rate relative to foreign wage rate. That means lower relative wage rate is also required to have the in order to export some commodities, the nation need to have relatively lower wage rate. According to the classical trade theory, labor is the only factor of production, and there are many issues regarding that. I'm not going to the detail on that issue. However, factor cost lower factor cost is required to help a nation to export, and lower relative wage rate and higher relative productivity are required both for having comparative advantage. That was the first myth on comparative advantage theory. That means free trade is beneficial only when your country is strong enough to stand up to foreign competition. That is not right, in fact, as per the comparative advantage theory. And second myth on comparative advantage theory, or second misunderstanding or second misconception on the comparative advantage theory, is the myth on pauper labor agreement. The argument is foreign competition is unfair and hurts other countries when it is based on low wages. So low wages or low cost of production, lower factor cost or higher efficiency in production of the commodity will help the nation to export. But the critics of comparative advantage theory, or the wrong critics of comparative advantage theory, argues that foreign competition is not fair, it is unfair, and it hurts other countries when it is based on low wages. So low wages are not desirable according to them. So they are asking why nations trade, why nations export with the industries paying lower wages. They need higher wages, but when higher wages are paid always on all commodities, then what happen? The nations will become less competitive and will not be able to export the commodities. The comparative advantage will have to be compromised when higher wages are to be paid. So in fact, higher wages may be fine for the home country, but it is not similar for the foreign country. It is wrong to think that trade is good only when higher wages are paid. This is a wrong conception, misunderstanding or myth on the comparative advantage theory. And the last myth pointed out by Krugman and Oswald is the myth on exploitation of laborers. So, myth on exploitation means myth on exploitation of laborers. So, trade, the argument is the wrong argument against comparative advantage is trade exploits a country and makes it worse off if its works of if its workers receive much lower wages than workers in other nations. So they are against paying lower wages in the nations having comparative and absolute advantage. So this is an emotional argument. One cannot declare that lower wages always represent exploitation unless one knows what the alternative is. They need to be able to suggest the alternative, the possible plausible alternative. Otherwise this is not a uh, relevant statement, relevant argument against comparative advantage theory. And moreover, lower wage rates may also mean low inflation and higher value for money. That is another case. And these are the three myths pointed out by Krugman and Offeld. And these three myths are the misunderstanding of some people against the comparative advantage theory. The first myth is the myth on the productivity and competitiveness. According to the wrong critics of comparative advantage theory, the less strong nation will not be able to uh, appropriate the benefit of international trade, benefit of free trade. And second myth is the myth on pauper labor agreement, pauper labor argument, not agreement, argument. That means lower wages are paid and higher efficiency is at the cost of lower wages. Then third myth is myth on exploitation of laborers, and they are asking why lower wages are paid and the workers need to get higher wages, and they are ignoring the fact of lower cost of production and higher competitiveness. So these are the three myths raised against the comparative advantage theory, and these are pointed out by Krugman and Oswald in their textbook on international economics.